Hey everybody, Adam here, and back for some more Pauper. It's should end up a pretty quick one tonight. Tonight, we're gonna watch the whole world burn. So we're playing some Pauper Burn. So, if you find yourself asking, what is burn? I might find myself asking, what rock have you been living under? But, that's okay, I'll forgive you and I'll explain. Burn is, across all formats, the premier red-based aggressive deck. Your game plan is to find the most efficient, aggressive red spells and red creatures and get your opponent dead as quickly as possible. What does that look like in Pauper? Well, in Pauper, we get most of the good ones. So you have Chain Lightning, Lava Spike, Lightning Bolts, Rift Bolts, Skewer the Critics. All of these spells deal 3 damage. This is kind of the gold standard. Rift Bolt and Skewer the Critics make us jump through a couple of hoops to get 3 damage for 1 mana, but a good portion of the time it's going to be 1 mana, 3 damage. Additionally, we have cards like Fire Blast. This lets us sacrifice 2 mountains to deal 4 damage to something. Pretty great when we're just casting all these spells out of our hands, tapping out all our mana, and just up to the dome. Here you go. So finally we have some stuff that's a little more, we have to jump through a little more hoops, or has a few more requirements, right? So we have cards like Needle Drop. So Needle Drop is an instant that lets us deal 1 damage to anything that was already dealt damage this turn. So this means that if we bolt our opponent and then we Needle Drop them, we've done 4 damage for 2 mana, and we're drawing a card to replace this Needle Drop, hopefully drawing into more damage. We also have cards like Voldaren Epicure. So it's a 1 mana 1/1. When it enters the battlefield, it deals 1 damage to each opponent, and you make a blood token. So this is a 1 mana 1/1, so a recursive source of damage. It also deals 1 immediately, so even if it gets removed, we're still getting at least 1 point of damage. Finally, it makes a blood token, which is going to allow us in the late game, if we get a couple too many lands, to try to turn that into something else. We have Curse of the Pierced Heart. This is an enchantment that enchants a player. At the beginning of enchanted player's upkeep, Curse of the Pierced Heart deals 1 damage to that player or a planeswalker they control. Well, not really any planeswalkers in this format, so we're just looking to dome our opponent for 1 every single turn. Great. Finally, we have Thermo Alchemist. So Thermo Alchemist is a 2 mana 0/3 with Defender. Wait a minute, Defender in an aggressive deck? Oh, hold on a minute. Because Thermo Alchemist has an ability that lets us tap it to deal 1 damage to each opponent. But it also says that whenever we cast an instant or sorcery, we get to untap it. So what we do is tap Thermo Alchemist, cast a Chain Lightning targeting our opponent, untap Thermo Alchemist, deal 1 more point of damage. You can see how this kind of stacks up pretty quickly. Eventually, our opponent's life total becomes 0 and we win the game. So finally in the sideboard, we have some stuff for very specific situations. So we have Gitu Lava Runner. So Lava Runner fairly quickly and fairly consistently becomes a 1 mana 2/2. So what does it say? It requires 2 or more instant or sorceries in our graveyard, then it also gains haste. So we cast a Chain Lightning, a Bolt, a Lava Spike, whatever, a couple of these spells, and then we turn on this Lava Runner, start bashing for 2 every turn immediately. We have Gorilla Shaman. XX1. Destroy target non-creature artifact with mana value X. It's a 1 mana 1/1. So what this is going to do is our affinity opponent, when they start playing out their Seed of Synod, or Ancient Den, or whatever it might be, we're just going to blow those up. 1 mana piece, blow it up, blow it up, blow it up, blow it up. Eventually we can kind of scale up a little bit, maybe hit their 1-drop artifacts, or their 2-drop artifacts, or whatever else we might need to clear away. We have Martyr of Ashes. So 1 mana 1/1, pay 2, reveal X red cards from our hand, sacrifice Martyr of Ashes. Martyr of Ashes deals X damage to each creature without flying. So when our opponent, say, makes a bunch of 1/1s with Hexproof, we're just going to play a Martyr of Ashes, crack it, show them a fistful of red cards, kill all their stuff. Then we have Firebrand Archer. This is a 2 mana 2/1. Whenever we cast a non-creature spell, it deals 1 damage to each opponent. This is basically our 5th copy of Thermo Alchemist in some capacity. Not quite the same, but going to do extra damage for all of our burn spells. We have Flaring Pain. It's a 2-mana instant with flashback for a single red that says damage can't be prevented. So, when our opponent, say, casts something like a Moment's Peace or a Prismatic Strands, we're going to show them this Flaring Pain, and they're going to get real sad when they start taking damage they didn't expect to take. Finally, 4 copies of Smash to Smithereens, destroy an artifact, 3 damage to that artifact's controller. Once again, when our affinity opponent decides to show us a bunch of artifact lands, or a Frogmite, or a Mirror Enforcer, or whatever, we're going to kill it, and bolt them. It's going to be great. So, that's Burn. Without further ado, let's get this show on the road, and burn it all down. So here we go. Travis, possible? So it turns out that I don't do a whole bunch of this cast a bunch of red spells burn thing anymore, but I might have had a reputation for it for a hot minute. But I do thank everyone for joining me tonight. I really appreciate you all being here. There are plenty of ways you could choose to spend your Tuesday evening, but I'm grateful that you choose to spend it with me. So, game plan right now is, for the week, we're going to play Burn Pauper tonight. Gonna stream a little Legacy on Thursday. And I'm thinking that going forward, given that Mana Traders announced that this month's Mana Traders series is Legacy, I might start pushing some Legacy, try to get into that Mana Traders series, try to see how we can do. That'd be pretty hot, not gonna lie. So I think that might be the game plan, is to play the Mana Traders series and play some Legacy this month. If you have thoughts on that, feel free to shout them out here, get at me on Twitter, we can figure something out. But definitely curious as to what people think about watching me grind the Mana Traders series. Alright. This looks totally fine. I will keep. Excellent. I will suspend this Rift Bolt. Reasonable. Opponent cycles their Baron more. Two-mana Quambodge Witches. Sure thing. Don't care about that one even a little bit. I wish for to cast this at you. I will play this Voldaran Epicure. Then I will Needle Drop you. Then I will pass. Yeah. That did the thing I needed it to do. Promise, promise, promise. Okay. I think what we're gonna do here is suspend this Rift Bolt. That's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 11. Dome you? Needle drop you. Kill you. Sick. Just burn them out. Okay. Anything? Opponent is mono black. I feel like we're pretty well just set up for this. I feel like we're just pretty well set up for this. These Steering Blades are going to be gas since opponent showed us they're a Quambodge Witches build. That's pretty hot. I think I'm going to keep Epicure because I think I want to be able to turn on my needle drops and my skewers easier. So I think we're just going to run this right back. I'm sure opponent right now with their dirtily mono black deck is pretty upset that the first thing they clear the league is burn. Alright. Yeah, this seems fine. Like, this is a lot. Like, 4 lands is kind of a lot. But I'm kind of okay with it given the circumstances. Just gonna play this land as I go. Deal? You can have these 2 mountains. I'm gonna play Thermal Alchemist. Chain lightning you? Play land, cast Thermal Alchemist. Opponent is cycling suffocating fumes. That seems like a totally fine thing. Okay. Okay. I will choose to sacrifice my Thermal Alchemist. Yeah, Terry, that's fair. I saw your messages, but I'm a little busy burning people out here. My apologies. Terry, welcome to the stream. I will continue playing lands. Alright. You got it. You have cast a Gary. I don't think that particularly matters. I'll play my 4th land. I will enchant you with this Curse of the Pierce Dart. I would like to always yield to this Curse of the Pierce Dart ability. You know, opponent, you've dealt 2 damage to yourself this game, so I feel like all of this is okay. I think I'm gonna keep this land in hand. Terry, there's 4 of the Epicure, the new one, main, and then 1 Archer side. Okay. So I think this is a point where I'm priced into, like, killing a Rager or some garbage. But I don't think that that's a world in which we, like, actually win the game. I guess we're gonna do it. I just hate it. Three mana. Yep, I will just concede to that. The likelihood that I win the game from a position with just mountains in play is pretty low. Okay. I still don't feel like I want to change anything. It's possible that I could board in, like, this Firebrand Archer over a Curse of the Pierced Heart. I don't know that that's necessarily, like, a good exchange, though. So I think I'm just going to run this back. This is greedy, but I'm keeping it. Spike you? I feel like the deck's pretty reasonable in a metagame like this. Gonna play this Alchemist. Yeah, that, okay. Yes. Reasonable. I'm just gonna pass here. I mean, Terry, that's fair. Oh, you poor sweet child. This is so good for me. Land drop. Target player. Target creature. 2 mana. Terry, I played a little of that game, and, like, I like the notion of it, but it never fully clicked with me. You have a Gary. Okay. Alright. So that's 1, 4, 8. That's very close. Epicure. I have to make this land drop in order to do this, which I'm not sure I want to do. I guess. This one. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Do I come back from a 4-point swing? Probably not. The state that I'm in, I don't think that I come back from a 4-point swing. Gross. They're just gonna loop Gary's at me forever? That's pretty disgusting. Okay. will sacrifice this creature. Alright. Pay 1, discard this mountain. Okay. Chain lightning. Skewer. Like, right now, the thing that scares me the most is that they're drawing 2 cards a turn. Yikes. Very dead. Alright. Womp womp. That was close. Yeah, Grey Merchant of Asphodel, very good. Yeah, just between just them being able to cottage back the Gary that I had to Fire Blast for, like, tempo reasons felt pretty atrocious. Like, I realistically wanted to point that Fire Blast at them, but, like, it was functionally the same thing because I either Fire Blast them, they gain 4 and then lose 4, or I Fire Blast... Well, I guess... I think it was actually correct for me to Fire Blast them. I just thought about that. Technically, they would have gained less life if I would have let them put the Gary into play and then Fire Blast them instead. Wild. Huh. The inherent flaw, everyone. The control players don't always do the burn math. We let you figure it out. But, it was a close one regardless. Yeah, wild. Alright. So, onward to round 2. Ooh, we win the die roll. Yeah, I'm into this. I'm gonna play Forgotten Cave on 1 here. I mean, like, for as much as people give Burn grief for being, like, a super linear, like, chimp brain deck, it's really not. Like, you really have to think about, like, where you point which spell when and how you do the thing. Gross. Alright. I'm gonna get this Curse the Pierce start online immediately. That's gonna turn on a lot of things going forward. I'm gonna yield to that. Golden Egg, yeah, I don't care about that. Alright. This one's gonna be kind of a longer game anyway. I think I have time to set up Alchemist. I mean, maybe just a little bit, Terry. Yep. You got it. Inspector, sure. That was kind of the game plan, was to try to set that up that way. Glinthawk, return Golden Egg. Huh. Weird. Funny. You'd think I know how this deck works or something. Gross. I'm gonna bolt opponent. And then I want to needle drop opponent because I'd like to make a land drop. Too good at this game. Egg is fine. It's 2 mana to sacrifice egg to gain life. Okay. So the egg math is weird. So they go to 10, they go to 6. Like, I get what you're getting at, Terry. I think the problem here is that they had that egg, which I knew gained them life, and now I also have to respect, strands. It doesn't, sure. Opponent has the land drop. Okay. I do wonder if I was supposed to... Yeah, no, like, I kind of knew what was up, right? Like... I'm quite tempted to Fire Blast one of their idiots if they don't leave both of them. Oh, they're just gonna... Okay. I have no interest. Skyfisher bounce. Vial. Okay. So I can kind of get them here. This is interesting. They're counting on this Skyfisher casting Prismatic Strands, and I can make sure that doesn't happen. Okay. What do you got, opponent? Yikes. I needed this to be a spell. I'm curious to see if they Alchemist's Vial. This Epicurean? That's... yeah. Yikes. I am gonna get in for one. That's happening. Unless they Vial it. Which they could. I need the next couple of draws to be absolute gas. Okay. Do you have another bolt? Or a Galv Blast? Rally?
Alright guys, this song's called Crown Vic Headlights. You can sing along if you want, whatever.
Like,
It'd be cool.
opponent hasn't actually shown me I'm dead though yet, right? Okay. Is this it? Galv Blast me. Yes. Alright. You got it, opponent. Well, we weren't getting there anyway. Things I'm interested in include Smash to Smithereens, Flaring Pain. Maybe not every copy of Smash, but like some of them. Yeah, I think I want to trim some number of blasts for sure. I think it might actually be 2. And then I'm trying to figure out what else I want to cut. I probably don't need all of these Smash, but I kind of want a couple of them. I can see shaving creatures. I don't hate that at all. And then I have to make one more cut. What is the one more cut? Skewer? Okay, I can believe that. One of the ones that takes more effort. Sure. Five? Opponent is on 5. Alright. Start by casting Epicure. Got it. That's reasonable, Terry. Oh, opponent looks like they're missing a land drop. Let's go. Okay, opponent has a tap land. Play an Alchemist. I feel like opponent's next land is a bounce land. Oh, saw that one coming. Opponent didn't even float. Like, what's going on here? Tap to deal a damage. Needle drop you to draw a card. I mean, I guess that's technically a land. I'll play this tapped. Deal 1 to you. Burn you with that. I mean, opponent made choices here, right? They decided to register artifact lands. That's what happens. Yeah, we're golden. Burn you. Okay. Now, on the draw, I have to respect that opponent's going to get out in front of me. So I need to decide if there's anything I want to do differently. I could see shaving another Alchemist in favor of something like another Smash. But I also feel like opponent's going to try more consciously to play around Smash this time. I think I'm just going to run it back. Seems great. This is turn 1, suspend Rift Bolt, go. I would love nothing more. Opponent, please float your mana. Float you. I will assuredly cast both of these skewers. Promise, promise, promise. I see. This could get max punished. Right? Like, I understand that this can get max punished. Nope, they just didn't have it. That's so good for me. I kind of felt like they would have the removal spell for their own idiot here. They just didn't. I will enchant you with this Curse to the Pier Start. Inspector is fine. Yes. I mean, I wouldn't hate it. Not gonna lie to you, I really wouldn't hate it. That's 7. If opponent taps below 2 mana, they die. I mean, I'm gonna make him do it, right? Gross. Land was not what we were looking for there. Not even close. You got it. Skyfisher. Bounce Lone Missionary. Yikes. That's bad. Spike you. I am holding this mountain for Searing Blaze reasons. Take 5, go to 10. That sucks. Okay. It's real bad. We're not dead, but like it's not good. Actually, like I think this egg is the worst thing that's happened in the last couple of turns. If I'm gonna be totally honest. Supplies, sure. Inspector, sure. Okay. Yikes. Yikes. Gross. Well, that's not a great start, everybody, but, both of those were very, very close. Very, very close. This is where my lunacy comes in and goes, maybe we're playing too many lands. Terry, I think it's pretty reasonable. I think that, like, I think that a good portion of the metagame is going to be pretty susceptible to creatures. Or susceptible to creature removal. So I think that it's really reasonable to just, like, play a bunch of removal spells as a deck. Alright. Alright. Won the die roll, let's go. I will keep. Turn 1, Epicure, go. I see. Yeah. Mirror draws land for Searing Blaze. Let's go. Kessig Flamebreaker. Okay. Reasonable. Alright. This is Spike You. Needle Drop You. Chain Lightning this way, you can't throw it back. Go to combat and attack for one. Yes. Reasonable. Okay. What's the move here? Four, five, six, seven. There's no way to go for a kill this turn. I think I'm just gonna pass. I don't want to give them the damage here. I feel like they need the damage outlet. Curse of the Pierce Tart. Sure thing. Okay. You got it. Opponent, I need you to play a creature for me. Yeah, they needed the damage outlet for Needle Drop. I kind of had that feeling. Cycle Forgotten Cave, sure. Land drop. Cycling through cards, yup. Play an idiot. Please just play an idiot. Boo. Yes. Okay. Okay. Four. Do I need to kill this Flamebreaker? I guess 4, 5. If they have any spell, we're just dead. And the Flamebreaker does not matter. I'm just gonna let this resolve. Needle drop you. Go to combat. Hit you. Kill you? Yup. Let's go! Alright. Okay. So, step 1, remove the card Chain Lightning from our deck. I'm not particularly interested in this notion of playing Chain Lightning games with my opponent. I think I'll take a Firebrand Archer. I guess, hold on. Let's take Lava Runner, Firebrand Archer, cut the last Curse the Pierced Heart, board in the Martyr of Ashes. Just go deep. Board in all of our creatures and the thing that kills all the creatures. Sure, makes perfect sense, right? I mean, that's right, though. I think I just want to get more aggressive. And then shift back up on the draw. I'm gonna keep this. Like, I'm a lunatic, I know, but I'm keeping it. Opponent has their Epicure. Aha! I also have an Epicure. Easy block. Okay. Alright, what's the game plan here? I think the game plan involves playing a Lava Runner. Chain Lightning targeting me, sure. Opponent very bold. I will declare attacks. I will needle drop you. Yikes. Yup. That's bad. Land? Alright. This is stupid, but... Oh god, it's so bad! If opponent has any spell, we just die. I'm gonna discard the Thermal Alchemist that I think is way too slow. There's a land drop. Yep. Okay. So opponent still has Chain Lightning in. I still kind of like the way I boarded, to be honest. I think I'm just going to keep with what I boarded. Solid. I'm in. Spike you on one. Please show me an Epicure? No, just Rift Bolt? Okay. So missing that land drop was intentional. I have 2 Searing Blazes in hand that I want. Needle drop, yep. Okay. Combat 1, then drop 2 creatures. Pointed at me. Okay. Cycle their cave. Yup. Combat. Smash. Yes. I accept. I feel like we might die to Fire Blast right now. Yep. Should not have sent the Chain Lightning back. Got it, got it, got it. I understand. Opponent was literally banking on us to send the Chain Lightning back. Wow. Yikes. Well, that's bad. I still don't think I like Chain Lightning in the matchup. The fact that your opponent is designed to cast Chain Lightning also seems questionable, but worked out for opponent, so sweet, I guess. That's 0-3, everybody. We gotta win our way out of this for our pity 50 play points, and then try to turn this around. So let's see what we can do. Again, thank you everyone for joining me. I really do appreciate you all coming out tonight. Again, I will be back Thursday with some Legacy of some nature. Deck to be determined. Looking at the potential for something containing the card Grizzlebrand. That one seems real good right now. And then after this, unsure. Thinking about Mana Traders announced the series for this month is Legacy. So I might start trying to play some Legacy to play in the Mana Trader series. Start playing some big dumb combo deck. But still unclear. We'll see how things feel after Thursday's stream. I mention this occasionally, but Gardic, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Welcome to the stream. I don't believe that I've seen your name in chat before, so I will kind of do the rundown real quick. My name is Adam. I'm a member of Team Swish from Grand Rapids, Michigan. On this channel, I primarily play Legacy, Vintage, and Pauper. And then whenever they throw me a good cube, I'm about that life too. I streaming about 2 days a week anymore, usually Tuesdays and Thursdays, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then I announce on my Twitter down below kind of usually what the schedule for the week is going to look like. So if you have a particular format that you follow, you'll know when to catch that format. Or if you just like seeing average to average minus Magic players play Eternal formats, you can check out everything I do whenever I'm live. I also post all of my content to my YouTube channel, which you can find linked in my Twitch bio. Lots of cool stuff on there from, again, Pauper, Vintage, Legacy. And then I do have additional content over at the Team Swish YouTube channel. Some really cool stuff over there that is exclusive to that channel. For example, my Vintage Eternal Weekend run. That one was really cool. That video was exceptionally long, so bring a sandwich, maybe a beer, and yeah, that was really cool. But again, Card Ape, thank you for joining us tonight. Hopefully you're enjoying the medium to medium minus quality content that I am providing this evening. Up against Karn Daddy. Oh dear. We won the die roll though, so I'm gonna play first. Ooh, yep. This one looks good. We're gonna keep this. I'm gonna suspend this Rift Bolt on one, like you do. Rugged Highlands, okay. I will always yield to Rift Bolt Suspend. I do in fact wish to cast this Rift Bolt, targeting my opponent preferably, not the Magic Online interface. Although I do sometimes feel like I should be targeting the Magic Online interface. Cool. This land drop is important. Burning Tree Emissary, I accept. Mud Brawler Cohort, that's also fine. You got it. Cool. So this is land drop, Searing Blaze, you, Cohort. Bolt this idiot out of my way. Attack you for one. Denizen, yup. Sure thing. Let me get rid of one of these lands. I will cast this Curse to the Pure Start. Then I will... We're just gonna pass. Yo, can you stop with all the life gaining? Got it. Deal. Trade those off, easy money. How does that math work out? 10? Okay. I could potentially wipe opponent's board here if they're not thinking about it. Kinda don't hate that. Baby, let's go. Yes, please. This one. Got it. Land drop. Sure. Place your bets now. What are the odds that we end up with the mana to hard cast Fire Blast? I agree with you, Cardape. Unfortunately, it seems like a thing that could very reasonably occur. I was supposed to play this land. I was supposed to play this land. The ability to kick that back could very well matter here, and we're about to find out. Nope, opponent just had. Sick. Things I like include Martyr of Ashes and Firebrand Archer. Not real high on Chain Lightning. Also of questionable value includes Curse of the Pierced Heart. Take the 4 Lava Runners. Cut the curses, call it a day. I think having blockers is actually gonna, like, just be huge. Just present creature that stops you. We're on the draw, so I will keep this hand on the draw. I think that we have a very high potential to draw out of this. Turn off the upkeep stop there. Foundry Street Denizen, sure. JK, everything's fine. I will trade this Voldarin Epicure off very, very quickly here. Mud Brawler Cohort. I accept. Easy block. Searing Blaze. So the next turn actually gets a little more interesting. It depends on what opponent plays. Burning Tree Emissary, sure. Cash your mana back. Alright. What are we doing with this Burning Tree Emissary mana, though? Just like a Conscripts? Conscript isn't a thing I'm particularly scared of. Yes. Nothing. Okay. Spike you. Skewer with Spectacle, target Burning Tree Emissary. Cast Hasty Idiot. I think that I'm willing to just suspend this Rift Bolt. I'll just cash this land. Mog War Marshal. I accept. Okay. Okay, opponent. We can let this Mog War Marshal trigger resolve. I'm cool with it if you are. Opponent's very concerned with this trigger. Less concerned now, I understand. It's a very weird thing for you to do, but I accept, I suppose? Cool, so opponent is dead without us going to combat. I like that. I do like it when my opponent's dead without me going to combat. That's pretty great. That one feels pretty good. I may have overboarded. Potentially didn't need, like, Martyr. Martyr just felt like it would be very, very good against opponent. And I wasn't super sold on Chain Lightning or Curse of the Pierce Heart. So we'll just get rid of that for cards that I think are going to have a higher impact in the matchup. I have a high tendency to cut Chain Lightning versus any deck that can produce red at any random moment. Not a big fan of that whole idea. I don't know many players who ever signed up to cast Chain Lightning because it had the potential to be a symmetrical effect. We won the die roll. Yeah, I'm in. This one's a little weird, but I like it. This is our enabler for these needle drops. Searing Blaze's removal for, like, literally any creature. Oh, they were on fairies. Let's go. I need you to play one of the 1-mana fairies on one, please. Please, opponent. Do it for me. That's not a fairy at all. So, what do we think? Is opponent combo goblins? or is opponent affinity? Opponent apparently also a fan of the upkeep stop. Okay. This is land, combat. Needle drop you. Needle drop you. Go ahead. Opponent confirmed affinity. Yes. These are all things I'm fine with, opponent. We'll cast Thermal Alchemist and pass. Wellspring is fine. Sure. Weird timing for you to do that, but okay. Okay, I now have a land for the Searing Blaze. So I think where we're at is... Suspend Rift Bolt. Say go. 2-mana Deadly Dispute. Draw some cards, sure. Another Wellspring, you got it. Bolt you? Bolt you again. Great. Cool. Good. Too many lands. I understand. Another functional version, Deadly Dispute. Opponent just drawing cards over there. Cool. Yup. 3, 6, 9, almost. This isn't currently lethal, so I'm not gonna stress over it too much. Yup. I have been Galv blasted. I just need 1 point of damage. Let's see how big brain our opponent is if I cast this Chain Lightning at them next turn. Shaman's fine. Disciple's a good one, not gonna lie to you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They can just dome us out here. don't think it gets any better if I just, like, make them fire it off now. Okay. We just gonna die? Feels like we're just gonna die. I will cast Chain Lightning at you. Okay. This is where opponent stacks it up and kills us. Okay, you got it. Understood. Should have killed Shaman with Disciple on the stack. Okay. So, good news. We have cards for this matchup. Once again, not a big fan of Curse of the Pure Start here. Matchup's a little fast for that. What other things do I not like? I could see cutting Lava Spike. Because Lava Spike can't target one of their idiots. Can shave a couple of Lava Spikes here. Actually. I think rather than shave Spike, I think I'm going to cut a couple of Thermal Alchemist. It also can't target their idiots, and it costs 2 mana and a turn to get online. I like this notion. Okay. We just need to take our opponent here, grab a couple of quick games, and call it an underwhelming but acceptable 2-3 for the evening, I suppose. We'll play first. I will keep. I just need opponent to not have an answer to this Epic Huron one. It's almost like they have too many of the indestructible lands now. Weird how that happens. Attack with Epicure. Needle drop. Yikes. Terrarian is fine. All right. Listen, opponent, here's what I need from you. I need you to let me resolve both of these 2 needle drops next turn. Well, I guess that's a thing. Yo, deck. Please? So remember how I said that thing earlier about maybe we cut lands? Maybe we don't cut lands. Maybe that's a bad idea. Also, this sucks. Basic swamp? I will once again needle drop you. I will play this mocked monkey. Okay. Hey, we found a smash target. Let's go. That also looks like a reasonable smash target. I'm into it. Please take 3 damage. Sure. Opponent, you have gained 6 life. Congratulations. That was a weird turn in which to do that, but I suppose that I accept. Deal. Deal. What I need, opponent, is for you to not show me another black source. And just let me smash this Great Furnace. It'll be fine, I promise. I mean, fine for me, not for you, but, like, that's okay. I feel like when you sign up to play Burn, you don't really sign up to care about how your opponents feel about the outcome of a game. You have a goal in mind. Disciple of Alt. Yup. Yup. Sure. Come on. Alright. Yep. Sure. Terrarian's fine. Plunder, sure. Okay. Ugh, I just need to draw a land. Gonna attack. I'm into that life. No, all of our spells do things! Yay! Sectarian, draw a card. Yup. Draw some more cards. Star, sure. You've got to be kidding me. Okay. Play this Thermal Alchemist and say go. Deadly Dispute, sure. Yup. Opponent takes a Fire Blast, sure. Okay. Nice! Opponent didn't change the target with their Chain Lightning copy and just killed themselves. That's so good. Alright. I don't think anything in particular changes on the draw. So I think we just run it back. Affinity is the one deck that I'm least concerned about, like the Chain Lightning retargeting with, because their mana base is like weird and impossible, and you can't count on them having red at any given random time. While it's technically possible, it's not something I would bank on. Yeah, this seems fine. I'm gonna suspend this Rift Bolt. Wellspring's fine. Target you. This one. This one. Go ahead. 1, 2, 3, 4, 8. Invite, yep. Okay. I think I'm into the notion of smashing Wedding Invitation. They can't sack it right now. I think everyone's just dead. Unless they have a counterspell to stop Epicure next turn, they just die. You need Weather the Storm? That's the game plan? Sure. When you can make it exactsies, you make it exactsies. Alright, well, not quite the finish we were hoping for, but we'll, given the last time I played Pauper Burn was just shortly after Thermo Alchemist came out, if I recall correctly, I'll take a 2 and 3. Not what we were hoping for, but we got some play points. So, overall thoughts. For anyone who missed the initial kind of breakdown, this is the list we played tonight. Pretty standard. 16 Mountains, Forgotten Cave, Chain Lightnings, Lava Spikes, Bolts, Needle Drops, Epicure, 3 Curse of the Pure Start, 4 Alchemist, Searing Blaze, Rift Bolt, Skewer, Fire Blast. Sideboard is 4 Lava Runners, a Mox Monkey, 2 Martyr of Ashes, a Firebrand Archer, 3 Flaring Pains, and 4 Smash Smithereens. Curse of the Pure Start feels like it could probably be in your sideboard in this day and age. It feels really kind of dirtily and slow, and I get that it's there to turn on Needle Drops, but I would almost rather, like, I don't know, Lava Runner? A couple of Firebrand Archers or something? Like, it would be great to have some other, like, slightly more tempo advantageous card that's dealing more damage consistently. Like, I will cut Chain Lightning probably a lot more than a lot of people. I don't like my opponent having a consistent ability to throw it back at me and make me sad for putting that card in my deck. So I will often cut it when my opponent has the ability to do that on a regular basis. I think a lot of other people will not. As our burn opponent showed us in the mirror, they kept theirs in, and it worked out for them. This is weird. I get why Martyr of Ashes is here. I don't know that I like it better than something like Electrickery. I would rather try to blow my opponent out with them, like, trying to make a big dumb Bogle or something, and then just wiping it across, especially since the Boros deck is still playing a lot of X1s. At least a decent number of versions of the Boros deck are still playing a bunch of X1s. That would be pretty okay. Elves is still a pretty good deck. Being able to just wipe all that away sounds pretty okay. Yeah, beyond that, like, everything feels pretty okay. Like, we ended up with a lot of hands where Fire Blast was kind of clunky and rotting in our hand, but then when it came time, Fire Blast was an absolute all-star, like it is. So, it's pretty sweet. But alright, everybody, I think that is it for me for this evening. Again, I will be back on Thursday, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, playing some Legacy. Will definitely be a combo deck of some nature, because I definitely think that that's the way to go in the format right now. What combo deck TBD? Might finally be time to cast some show and tells on the channel. Maybe we show people a Grizzled or an Emrakul. That seems pretty okay. So yeah, definitely stay tuned for that. And maybe, just maybe, we'll start looking at the Mana Traders series for February, since they have announced that it is Legacy, which is a format I will actually play. Thanks again, everybody. See you again soon. Cheers.